So last week, I made a prototype for a little game that I called Dystopian Nights. And the number one reaction that people gave was that they would like to see the game expanded into an actual game. One with interaction, with stories, with characters, dialogue, and everything like that. And I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Now, my first question is, what's the best way to go about this? I've released games on Steam before, and it's always been so hit or miss. There's a game that came out recently called Starfetchers. It's actually called Starfetchers Pilot on Steam, and it kind of blew up. Like, it did really well, even though the indie developer was very unknown. And the reason I believe this is because it was free. The game was free on Steam as a pilot version of the game. It wasn't a complete version, it was just the first part for free. And a lot of people obviously gravitated towards it because it was a really cool game and it had a great aesthetic and a cool story and characters and everything, but mostly because it was a free game. This allowed it to actually market the game itself by itself using just Steam's algorithm. The developer is now working on the next part of the game, offering the first part as DLC. And I'm thinking, you know what, I could probably do that too with my game. So that's going to be my plan. I'm going to release the first part for free, and the following parts I'll release as DLC. So let's go. I first decided to open up my old prototype and upgrade it to the latest version of Unity, so I can be as up to date as possible. I then started plotting out the timeline for what I would be doing each week for the remainder of the 3 weeks. This is important because it keeps my mind focused on what needs to be done and when it needs to be done by. So yeah, I decided to start working on the core systems for the first week so that the rest of the weeks I could focus on building content. The first thing I did was make it so that when the person's walking, they walk forwards and backwards, which I think is kind of funny and cool for a 2D character in 3D space. The next thing I added was shooting this laser pistol, because the game I decided is going to have a little bit of combat. And plus, it just looks really cool. Then on Thursday, I kind of had a mental breakdown. I'm not gonna lie, it was really rough. I didn't know if I should even be doing this project, if I should be doing something smaller, should I be doing something bigger, but I just took a deep breath, decided I would keep working on this game, but I would keep the features extremely small. I decided to make the game more of a dialogue game and adventure game than a combat game and deep RPG. I also believe that if a gameplay is simple and refined, it's actually far superior to a big game that's cluttered with badly designed features. So I'm going to keep the gameplay really simple. Speaking of simple games, Majora's Mask is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's not simple at all. But there is one aspect of the game that I found extremely endearing, and I think it's the main reason why it was such a popular game. I don't think it was the combat of the game, or necessarily the masks and the transforming effects in the game that made it so popular. I think it was the characters of the game. In the game, you play as a delivery boy. I thought I could kind of make a Majora's Mask type game, where you basically give one item to a character, and they give you an item in return. Then you have to figure out who to give that new item to, and so on. This incentivizes the player to explore the entire world, and figure out what to do with the unique and cool objects that you find. This also simplifies the gameplay, which will actually allow me to achieve this insane deadline that I've given myself. So this past week, I simply decided what the game would be, and how it would feel and play. And I also made the core mechanics of using the inventory system and the dialogue system in the game, which will basically be all that I need, beyond animations and cool stuff like that. So yeah, I can honestly say this past week I wasn't super productive, but I did figure out what I was going to be making and exactly how it was going to work. I even figured out the business plan as well. So that's it. If you're interested in this game, please wishlist it on Steam. The link is in the description. My goal is to have the game out by April 1st, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please feel free to subscribe. I'm making a video every Saturday about my game development journey, so feel free to follow along. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.